Welcome, everyone. We're just taking a few more minutes while we're waiting for the rest of our attendees to log in here. You are on mute by design. If you do have a question before we kick off, please feel free to use your question icon on your toolbar, and we can take those questions. And we'll get started here in a few minutes. Okay, guys, we're going to give it one more minute to allow people to sign in, and then we're going to be kicking off. I appreciate everyone's patience on the line. Today's topic is talent management. We'll be getting started momentarily. You are on mute by design. We have many people on the line today, so we've muted the lines to eliminate background noise. So if you do have a question, please use your icon, your question icon on your toolbar, and we can take those as they come in. Okay, let's get started. So welcome, everybody. My name is Bonnie McMahon. I'm Vice President of Sales for Evosis, powered by Newbury. I will be hosting today's webcast, which is all about Oracle HCM Cloud talent management modules. Now, I know many of you on the line are familiar with Newbury, and you also know that we were acquired by Evosis last year. And we're going to be talking about Evosis first. I'll give you an overview of Evosis, and then we'll be talking about the talent management issues that you may have today with talent management, and then we'll be talking about the Oracle talent management software and doing a brief demo. And of course, we always take Q&A as they come in. So about the new Evosis Newbury company we formed, we have over 1,000 customers today. As you can see here on this slide, many of them or most of them are on the Oracle Cloud products. We are now a global company. We operate in over 30 countries. We have well over 1,000 consultants, and we do have expertise in all 7 Oracle Cloud pillars. So that includes your finance, your Hyperion. We even have some specializations as well, such as talent management. And you can see here, we're proud to say we are a cloud excellence implementer. The Oracle calls us CEIs. We have achieved status in that across many of these pillars as well. This slide gives you an overview of how much expertise and how many projects we've actually completed in each one of these pillars. And you'll see by far HCM, especially with the Newbury acquisition, is one of our strongest pillars. And we're happy to have all of you here on the line today. You know, those of you who worked with Newbury in the past know that we are strong in HR, and we've continued growing that into the Oracle Cloud HCM products. And you'll see here we have many global HR projects we've completed, as well as talent acquisitions for those guys on the phone who use Newbury to complete their Taleo implementations. A lot of the talent acquisition comes from their Taleo customers. And in particular, we focus on the talent management. One thing about Evosis that I think is important to note as we talk about our strength as a global company, you can see our trajectory. We've kept growing and growing and adding more folks. But I wanted to really, on this slide, show you, hey, our consultants are not just implementation or software consultants. Our folks actually have MBAs or they're chartered accountants. And you can see how they break down across pillars here on the bottom right. We have many in ERP, many in HCM as well. But these guys are, like the lady who's going to be speaking today, have actual experience in their fields and can help you with your software design. And you should also note that Evosis Newbury is a full service provider. We provide implementations, upgrades, support, training, and everything you see here as well. So today's webcast focuses on Oracle HCM Cloud, which consists of many modules, as you see here, but I've highlighted the ones that we're going to be spending some time on today. That includes your core human resource module, which is your system of record for HR. And today's topic, we're going to be diving into career development, goal management, performance management, talent review, and such. And your speaker today is Miss Sarah Bragg. I know several of you on the line have met Sarah previously. She does come to us with over 11 years of experience in Taleo, but more importantly, she's got 14 years of experience in HR across various industries. She's actually a CHRL, meaning a Certified Human Resource Leader, and she serves on a couple different boards as well, and she maintains her HR status. And I know talent management is actually one of her favorite topics. So with that, I'm going to let Sarah take over from here. Sarah?
Perfect. I'll just take over and share.
There you go. As you're getting ready to share your screen, I'll remind everyone, if you do have a question or need assistance during Sarah's presentation today, please use the question icon on your toolbar, and we'll take those questions as they come in.
Okay, can you see this okay?
There we go. We've got your screen, Sarah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so why I think this slide up here is important is essentially, according this study was from the McKinsey Global Institute study, and really companies, they may not be able to fill, 1 in 10 roles that they actually need. So when you take a look at this slide, really 70% of employees are dissatisfied with future career opportunities that their organizations, might lack that progression forward. Also, too, length of service for a millennial in companies today is around 2.6 years. And then really 9%, don't really, only understand that factor to drive performance in an organization. So why is this important to talk about is because the Oracle HCM Talent Management modules are going to help you be able to guide and actually decrease those numbers. So essentially, right, your talent is critical to your success. So always we have a plan, you want to source the right talent. And you'll see here when you log in, there is also a recruiting option as one of the modules. But today, like Bonnie mentioned, we're just going to be focusing on the talent management. Also, we want to engage our workforce. Through the software, employees are going to be able to create their goals, do career development, be able to do self-assessments, be able to see what kind of roles in your organization match their competencies that they possess, etc. Also, you're going to be able to develop and nurture, cultivate your workforce so that they stay and grow with your organization as your organization changes. And last but not least, through this software, you're going to be able to retain your staff because they're going to be able to grow based upon the different modules that they can utilize, the different opportunities that you give them in the system. And really, we all know this, right, as HR professionals, 80% of CEOs see, the key skills as the biggest threat to their business, right? The availability of it. With this software, you're going to be able to see all the different skill sets by setting up your employees' talent profiles, and also through the talent review, who's at risk at losing your organization. So this is something that's probably familiar to a lot of you as well, right? We are typically seeing HR systems, with traditional approaches, right? But that's not going to be good enough in order to keep up to pace with your accelerated change in your workforce and the needs of your employees that you're hiring. So before, when you're using an HR system, they're really rigid, right? Inflexible. A lot of people might even still just be using Excel spreadsheets. So, we want to make sure that when you are looking at various systems to grow and enhance your HR processes, what is your, 3 to 5 year plan? And even sometimes organizations look at 10 years out, right? We want to take a look at everything holistically so that we're building a future plan for you. So in the last couple of years, things are changing, right? The most important thing that we keep hearing about is we want things at our fingertips, right? Mobile devices are everywhere. So with Oracle's platform, you're going to be able to take a look at things right on your mobile device. It's mobily optimized, as well as the AI intelligence that has been built. So just a high level here, these are some key words, and we're going to go in just a little bit more in depth in all of these slides moving forward. But really the platform is based upon, these 4 different things. It's based upon, intelligence. You can personalize items. It's going to be adaptable, so to move with your organization as things change and grow. And also it's complete with its analytics with real-time visibility into different things in your organization. And if some of you have other modules with Oracle on the Fusion platform, you understand that these 4 kind of topics will flow right from module to module, and they kind of follow that same process into the talent management piece. So if we take a look at intelligence here, we're going to be able to see real-time insights for people. So this here is just a screenshot of the talent review, which we'll get into. So live, you can have talent review meetings, and you can see, who's your top performers, what do we need to do from a succession plan standpoint and from a career development. You might also unhidden talent that you didn't even know about because you don't have something like this current in place. You don't have a place to track your top talent or even just new individuals that have been hired. Also, the system's going to show you recommendations for their role. So your employees can log right in and they can see what roles that have been recommended based upon their competencies that they've been successful with achieving. Also, it's going to give suggested learning and projects to help grow their skills. And that's all built in right in the system for you. And it's going to predict flight risk, which is a big thing that a lot of companies I find when I talk to them, struggle to be able to truly understand, it's not necessarily always a compensation factor that turns people into flight risk. Also, it's personal. So throughout the software, all of the various screens that you see will be configurable. Also, the UI is configurable from an end user perspective. So I can showcase to say, hey, I only want to see this different, modules or different pieces that I have access on my home landing page. What you see here is just a mobily optimized site. You see it on your desktop as well as your different mobile devices. Also, it's anytime feedback. So right on your mobile device, your desktop, you can provide feedback to your peers. Your managers can provide you feedback. And also you can have, a reputation. There is different competitions and different things that your employees can take a part of in the system too to grow, kind of competition and kind of that different camaraderie. Because a lot of us today too are also in a virtual workforce. So with this system, it allows different people to see different things from that social aspect. Also, it's adaptable. So that's really great because as your organization grows, you're going to be able to change the software and adjust it. So it's always flexible. Things are always configurable by different screen settings, and it's really interactive. Also, there's a complete one talent solution, right? You go from cradle to grave with everything here from your employee life cycle. So that's great. And also here, this is just a screenshot of the different dashboards from an analytics that you can have set up right at your fingertips as well. So really, the message is always, all-in-one solution. There's no integrations needed from module to module. It's all going to flow right from when you hire that employee. All of their information comes right over. Okay, and without further ado, we just want to leave with this kind of simple slide here. Essentially, this is going to be a very powerful solution for your organization. Really people today, it's going to boost 60% of your employee engagement. People might be saying, how can software do that? I can tell myself from a virtual role that I have, I can see different things happening with our organization, see different achievements in our organization. So with this full HCM suite, people are going to be able to participate in those options. Also today, if you're currently using, Excel for your performance, it's going to reduce that because it's all going to be in your system and people have access to it at any given time. And also last, it's going to increase your employee productivity by approximately 90%. Okay, and last but not least, we just always hit home here with this all-in-one powerful solution. So it's going to give you all of your HR needs. We're going to touch upon the demo, just some options that you can do from a core perspective, and then it moves right along into your talent management, so growing your employees, etc. So it's a secure also model. There's different roles in the system. So that's important to note, right? Because you want to be sure that your HR managers can see the people that they need to see, your hiring managers see their chains of hierarchy. If there's HR specialists in the system as well, everybody has a specific role and everybody has security. So they are only assigned the information that they need to see, that they have access to. Also, one of Oracle's great options that you have with joining the Oracle family is that you belong to also a Customer Connect community. So you're going to be part of, 5,000 plus HCM customers that you can actually, put out messages out in the Customer Connect, they'll respond back to you. So this is really another great option as part of the software to learn how other people are utilizing it. Okay, well, I wanted to touch upon this because I think this is important to note as well. So Oracle's based upon their system with modern best practices for HR. So essentially the talent management, which levers the mobile aspect, also social aspect that we talked about, analytics, as well as big data. This cloud platform is going to provide you with insightful data and become more strategic, efficient in your performance management process. So this is just a good little slide here that just shows all the various processes that people go through that's available in the system based upon modern best practices. And through implementation of the software, this is all going to be incorporated to make sure that, maybe now's the time to streamline, to talk about some change management, because maybe you've been having some hurdles. The next screen is very similar as the last one. This just talks about your career planning to development. Same idea. The software was built upon modern HR best practices, and as things change and grow, things evolve in the system for you. So you're always going to be up to date, can do different things. You might want to introduce a new program in your organization about career planning and your development. This is all capable in this system. And now we're going to shoot to talent review and succession. Now, I know sometimes when I talk to individuals, this is kind of low on the totem pole to do. I know we're so busy today, but it is really important. And I find with this software, it doesn't have to be as painful as maybe you're used to having it with an Excel spreadsheet, or you have those closed meetings, or we don't have all the information. So how do we have a good picture of our talent, and how do we grow them or plan for their success, or who are our successors in maybe roles that we know people are coming up to retirement, etc. We need to be able to harness that individual's knowledge, and how can we develop that other individual that we think is going to be a great leader in that role. This software is going to do that for you and help aid in that process. But I also, too, throughout these various screens that you've seen so far in the presentation, don't be nervous to say, hey, I only want to implement, 2 of the modules. Maybe the goals and the performance first before we actually roll into, talent review and succession or career development. All of that is a possibility as well. Okay. And without further ado with this, I'm just going to share my screen and we'll get into the demo portion of this presentation. Did you have any questions, Bonnie, come in before I change my screens?
I don't have any questions yet, but I would like to do a poll while you're logging into the demo software. So how many people on the line today are using an Oracle product for talent management. I'm kind of curious. There's a little raise your hand button on your screen. You can raise your hand. Oh, there's a few already out there. Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Good, good, good. Thank you, guys.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's good to hear. So some of these screens then, just like Bonnie mentioned, this is a demo site that we log into. So some of your screens might have been configured a little bit differently than what we see today. But just to let you know, the screen and some of those presentations that we saw, that's just changing it to be mobilely optimized or different landing pages. So when your end users log in, and today we're going to look at it from a VP of compensation. So what does that mean to you? That means that this individual also has everything about themselves, plus they have a team that they manage. So they're going to see underneath the My Team portion here. Now, as you can see, really quick and easy for a UI perspective to get to the different options. We also have a navigation up at the top here. So again, people might want to get to their information this way. You know, there's no harm or foul in choosing which way you want to use the system. It just gives you another option. Also, if you wanted to change what you see here, what you have access, everyone has this little cog up here when they log in, and they can personalize this landing page or the springboard. And you just put your check marks, what you'd like to see, hit OK, and then that's going to display for you here. So first we're going to take a look, is this me? This is all about me. This is all the information that I have access to. So as you see, there's various other modules too that you might not have today that might be a future roadmap on what you want to use for your organization. If we click on this personal information piece here, this displays everything about me from a personal standpoint. So I can click on personal details really quickly here. It's just going to showcase my name, my title, you know, my demographic information, anything that's about me. And these screens are fully configurable, so you might have other information on your screen. Also with these little pencils, people can actually edit that information. Now again, because this system is all connected, changes here will be reflected in other pieces of the software if those fields are connected. Also, I can do my contact information, any family emergencies, documents of records here. So this is where I can attach, you know, certificates, etc. Employment info, and also compensation. So that's just a little bit about that personal information piece here. Now again, look, we have all of these different things that are pertaining to me up at the top. So I don't need to go to that navigation, right? Or I don't need to go back to my home. If I go back to my home, then I'm going to see those little icons. But currently right now, if we drive to talk about goals, because I'm a new employee and I want to set some goals, or maybe my managers have already set goals for me, I can quickly just click on this career and performance icon. And when I click on this career and performance icon, again, because this system's been set up with the various different modules here, I have access to it. So first off, we want to click on skills and qualifications. So with skills and qualifications, this is where every employee, once they're hired into the system, is able to take a look at their competencies for the role that they've been slated to. So this is really powerful, right? Because now, as an employee, I can see where I fit. So, you know, I'm outside or above what this role is for in the planning and organization and so forth. I scroll down, I can see where I rank against those competencies plus other competencies. Featured learnings that I can take a look at. Also, my degrees are in here, any awards and so forth. Once again, fully configurable for you to set this up for what you want to have from a skills and qualifications standpoint for your employees to fill out. And as you can see at the top, right, really easy for me to edit any of this information here. Now, if I wanted to sort this other than proficiency, I can sort it by alphabetical. So once I'm finished with this screen here, we can just click on done. So if we move to the goal standpoint, because I filled out my skills and qualifications, then that's going to be allowing us to be able to set goals. Now, like I mentioned, my manager may have set goals for me as a new hire, or the HR specialist might have set goals for me. But you see here, I can really easily just click add a goal. When we add a goal, this goal form is going to appear here. So we can actually pull from a goal library that's been uploaded. Why is that a great option for your employees? Because maybe this is a new organization to them and maybe they just need some help on some goals or how to frame goals. Maybe where they worked before didn't have that kind of knowledge, or they didn't track it or didn't develop this. So this can give them kind of a starting ground if that's your choice that you'd like to offer to them. They can also create it from scratch. They'd put their description in here, the start date, which is great because it's a calendar icon, so ease of use, different categories, etc. Once they were finished, they would just hit save. Now, when I hit save, we can also actually route this for approval if that's something that has been set up in your system. Now, what I want to take a look at and just show you is essentially when goals are in your system, I click on this title, I now see this goal, the basic information. I can edit it. That also can be set up in your configuration if you want to allow people to edit goals or not edit goals from an employee standpoint. Also, I see here my measurements. I can add various measurements. Now, one neat thing here that we don't really think about, usually we have this common overall achievement, but that can be overwhelming for an employee, right? How do I break it down into little tasks in order to achieve this overall, goal or measurement that I'm going to be tracked on? Well, the system allows you to set up mini tasks, and you can actually track that and check it off as you actually completed it. So this then helps drive not making this kind of overall goal target so overwhelming for your employees. Also, your employees, they can take a look and they can share goals, or you can see if there's anything shared with you thus far. Also, you can align your goals and you can provide any feedback here throughout that life of that goal. Now, if I scroll back up to the top here, and we're just going to hit this back bar, we see here this action column or this action button. So if I click on some checkboxes here and I click these actions, dependent on how these goals were set up, I'm actually can copy these. I can share these goals to people that I think, might be of interest. It doesn't mean that they're assigned to them. We're just sharing to them. I can align from here as well. I can assign it to individuals because remember, I am actually a manager that manage a team of individuals plus subordinates underneath those teams. We can add weights in here as an employee, and I can also print it. So that just gives you kind of a high level of what that means from a personal perspective for goals. So we're going to go back to Jessica's profile here. Now, the next logical step, right, from a personal standpoint, once our goals are, is that there's going to be performance reviews going to be done, or there's going to be self-assessments. So very easily, I can get an email notification at the time of a self-assessment. And we're going to take a look, not to fear about what's going to happen from a team perspective, but I just want to kind of finish off here from a personal standpoint, so I'm not flipping back and forth in the demo. Sometimes gets confusing where we are. So if I click on this performance, this is again, if I have a performance review that's been assigned to me, if I don't see one in this cycle, not to fear because there's one in another cycle here. So it's various different workflows can be set up in the system here to track kind of that progress. So what your employee is able to do now, because it's in the worker self-evaluation, is click on the title of that performance evaluation. When I click on that, I'm going to drive to my self-assessment. So we see an overall summary, which is going to get pre-populated once I finish my goals and my competencies. So if we click on this performance goals here, it shows all of the goals that are a part of this review cycle, a part of a goal plan. So what I can do is I can click on this title here. Again, there's no right or wrong way, right? So I could also click show more. So that's the great beauty of this system from a user interface, is it's really simple and you're not thinking, oh shoot, did I hit something wrong? No, it just depends how you interpret, how you want to use the system. So really easily here, I can select my stars at how I feel that I've done on this competency here. Now, I can also click on this clear rating and it clears rating. And I can also do any worker comments here. I can also type things in here. There's formatting capability if I wanted to do formatting capability here as well. So I would just literally scroll through this piece from a goals perspective, put my ratings, put my comments in here. And then when I was finished with that, I can move on to my competency section. Again, with the competency section, it's going to look really familiar or the same kind of makeup as this section here. Oh, shoot, we'll hit just cancel here. Perfect, we'll go back in here. and we'll hit competencies. So these are the competencies that have been associated to this review template. Same idea, right? I can hit show more. So again, the consistency throughout the system, so people aren't lost. Where do I need to click? Where do I need to go? The messaging is consistent. So this is my target based upon this competency. This has been set up when the system has been set up to say this is our target that we want our individuals to hit when they're having this competency assigned to them. So I can again slate how I feel that I've done. I can clear the rating, right? Or I can add my comment. Also, if I wanted to click on building relationships here, we can do it just a different screen where it shows the description of what that means. Again, different things to different people. I can just hit done here, and we'll go back to the screen again. I go to my next customer focus, and I move forward and I complete that. When I'm ready to provide my overall feedback, I can put in here, and it will pre-populate my overall summary up here. That's as easy as it is for an individual to do a self-assessment, right? I can add attachments if I wanted to do so. And when I'm ready to submit it, I just click the submit button and it will go to my manager. Always you have that save button up here. And when you click on these various drop-down menus, you have different options dependent upon your role in the system. Now you can add various other goals that maybe weren't already assigned. So if you and your manager think, oh, I forgot a goal I need to add onto a performance review before it's finished, that's an absolute possibility that you can do in the system as well. So we'll take a step back and we'll just hit home. And then we'll go talk about what Jessica can do for her team before we get into the talent review and career development option of the system. So really nice, I click on that My Team. And what I can do here is I can, do onboarding if that was the case, hiring, etc. But today we're going to focus on these three options over here. So if we click Performance Overview, I can see my workers here. Now, if I wanted to drill down deeper into an employee to see kind of their goals, etc., I can just click on their name. And now this kind of profile pops up on the screen, and I have their different options here. So if we take a look at goals, we see all of their goals. So again, same familiar screen as when I was a person creating my own goals, taking a look at my goals personally. This is for my team member, Mitch. So I could click on this title here that's already been created. Same look and feel. We can view any tasks in here. I can provide any feedback to my employees. We'll hit goals again.
Sarah, we had a question come in, and it's more of a general question about talent management. Do you see a lot of people doing the 360 reviews nowadays, or is that changing a little bit?
So the 360 reviews, I find they use it maybe a little bit differently. So I find people from a succession planning standpoint, they might have a review form that's for a leader or for an executive. And you have someone that's maybe in a supervisory role. And now I want to see, what do I need to grow that individual? They might then do a 360-degree performance review on that individual and get the executive leadership to provide feedback for that person. Right? Because, hey, what do we need to grow these? So they kind of use it in twofold is what I'm seeing from most organizations. It's always there to provide feedback, on different goals. I see it being used on regular performance reviews just for the annual performance perspective because they want to have feedback from the team members who might have participated in that project. Those are the two common things that I see happen.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, perfect. So again, I can, as that person's manager, add a goal here. I'm going to see the same consistent form, messaging. I can fill this out here. I also can we'll just hit cancel here and we'll go back. I also have the action icon too. So I can click many goals here, hit the action, and I can copy these. I can assign it to another individual if I want. I can edit the weights because maybe I don't agree with what the employee said, and I can also print the goals here. So what I find really easy and simple about the system is the messaging is consistent. So why is that an important functionality? So you're a manager, your employee phones you up and says, hey, I'm having difficulty filling this out because, maybe, HR, we're so busy, we might not get to that, question that the employee has. Their managers can help assist them because they see the same screens that they do from a personal standpoint. That's the really ease of that software. So next thing that we'll take a look at, we'll go back and we'll take a look at the kind of performance aspect of it. So we'll go back to the performance overview again. We'll give it a second here to move forward. Okay, perfect. Sometimes things are slow when I'm using the demo site, so you'll have to apologize if I talk faster than the screen is actually coming up with. Okay, so here is my employees, our performance ratings, but we see if there's performance documents that need to be taken care of. So as we see here, there's no performance document, or it might not be in the status where the manager needs to take action on it. So this is what this kind of displays. So if I click on this title here, it's going to open up the performance document that I can take action on as a manager. Now I can already see what the worker's overall is, but when I click on the goals, I'm going to see what they rated themselves, their comments that they put in, and now as a manager, I can rate it. Really simple, easy, and clean. Once again, just like on the self-assessment, if we think, oh shoot, we need to add a goal, we can add a goal here as well at this point in time. I also, if I take a look at this self-assessment and think, maybe I want some more background at why you feel that you're a 4 out of 5 on that goal. Maybe the comments that they weren't that great. We can always return it to the worker to provide more information for us. I can drill down and I can go into the competency section here. And with the competency section, same idea. I'm going to see what the worker has put in for a rating and for comments. We'll give it a second here to catch up. Hit this refresh here. We'll go back if it clears it out.
Sometimes this happens when we're hosting the webcast and using the demo site. It gets some latency involved. We've got a lot of people on today. So.
Oh, there we go. That's just because I did that refresh thing, and I've clicked it multiple times. You probably can't see me clicking it madly here for it to come on. There we go. Okay, perfect. I should know better by now. With anything, just give it some time. You click, it's going to come through. So this here is an interesting as well, is now I can see kind of a relationship to this target as well as what the worker said and how I feel they fit. Once again, I can click on that name of that competency and it's going to open it up and give me a little bit more information here. And maybe people like to work in here to get some other comments in here.
Sarah, we had another question. If someone doesn't want to use the stars, is there another way to denote the achievement against that, or do they have to use stars?
I've only seen so far the stars, but let's take a message back. Like we can just write that down and I can follow up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we'll hit done. Everybody loves the star. Okay, perfect. So that's really how easy this performance process is. Now, again, you might have various processes throughout the year that you want to do. This is just kind of showcasing either you can use this from an annual perspective, a mid-year perspective, etc. Now, you might be wondering, there's different if we go to Mitch again, check-ins here. So if you wanted to have a check-in throughout the year, maybe once a month is your policy, once a quarter, you can really easily just have check-ins with your employees. So maybe you only use this from an annual perspective, and you use this functionality here of the system for your different check-ins. So when I click add here, a form just populates here. I can click save. And then I'm able to do other information depending on the configuration that we have set up here as well. So that's another option. I seem to be moving towards talking to organizations. They're getting away from doing so many formal documents and more this check-in piece and more kind of growing based upon, your goals, etc. But it's not to say that I don't still see this on an annual basis. But this is another feature to alleviate some pressure. I'm sure you all hear from your managers, if you have a probationary review, then you have a mid-year review, and then you might have an annual review. This check-in is a nice feature to utilize. So we'll go back to our house, because to end off the performance journey here, we have two other pieces that we want to touch upon today. So if we click on this My Team again, this talent review section here, if we click on the talent review, this opens up where we're going to talk about, succession and talent pools, also the matrix kind of boxes on how we see people fit based upon their competencies. So typically from a talent review meeting perspective, your HR specialist is going to set this up, set up the criteria, invite the individuals that need to be a part of this meeting. Typically, I know in my organization where I used to work, my organization would have the executives. HR would meet with them typically once a quarter to do this type of process, to talk about our emerging leaders or who we're going to think about from a succession planning. Really, where I worked, we had an aging workforce, so we had to really try to harness all the individuals' information that were retiring. So we would do this on once a quarter basis. So once the talent meeting has been set up, or the review meeting, you get the notification. Depending on the different participation type, we're going to click on this little arrow here. And this here kind of displays all the employees that have slated into this review meeting. Now, I should have paused before, Bonnie. I'm just curious to see how many individuals are actually utilizing this feature, because I find sometimes this is kind of last to be implemented or last to kind of organizations to use. So I'm just curious if you guys want to raise your hand for us.
Yeah, raise your hand if you have a formal talent review of your organization today. If you kind of look at this on an annual basis or a quarterly basis.
Yeah. Okay, so while you guys are putting your hands up here, if we click on this view button, this is going to display kind of that visual view. Some people call this, or maybe used to it, as the 9-box approach, etc. But this all incorporates, their competencies, their review scores. The system kind of populates individual in these different boxes. Now, you can also click on these individuals and you can drill down and see, this expectation right here. Now, if I wanted to, I can actually view the org chart of these individuals here. I can also then talk about succession planning and talent pools. So if I click on this kind of succession plan here, I have one succession plan, just for example, happening. So I can actually click on this title and we can see the kind of person here that might be a great successor for this role. So as a team, this is what you would be going through, and this software is going to help you talk as a management group on who we think, different successors are, etc. Now, if I hit cancel on this and we go back to our talent pools, and you can create various different succession plans based upon your talent review meetings. Also, it tracks review meeting over review meeting, so you can see as that individual maybe grows, as that individual maybe gets more competencies that they've achieved through achieving different goals in the system that have been set up, their scores are going to change, and each quarter you'll be able to track that. If I click on the talent pools here, what this does is we have a talent pool called Emerging Leaders. There's 2 individuals in this example. So if we click on this little word that says Emerging Leaders, these are the 2 people that are slated here. And it gives just some bit of information that's going to help that conversation keep moving forward. So this, sometimes people look at this and think, oh, this is overwhelming, etc. Not to fear, it's just a different process than maybe what you're used to today. And it's not to say you have to roll this out all at once. This could be on your plan, maybe in the next 2, maybe 3 years, that you want to formalize your talent review process, your succession planning, all of that stuff. Now, last piece that I want to touch upon is going to be the career development section here. So if I click on career development, okay, so we see here's my teams and here's my development goals for the teams. So if I click on this individual's name, it's going to come to that profile, and I can see kind of their active goals that they're working towards. These also, if you wanted to, they can be included in the annual performance review process, but they don't need to be because more they're a development goal, they're working towards something. Now, because of that AI of the system, if I click this arrow to open up that explore roles here, based upon my competency levels and areas of interest, the system has kicked back to me what are roles that best match those competencies. So you can see the different 100% here, 100%. Senior director, we're 71% here. We're not quite there. So maybe I'm really interested in that role. So I can actually click on this title, and it's going to pull up that role. And it's going to pull up my kind of that web of all my competencies of where I fit here. So once again, I can see where Chad is, but I can also see where I need to grow here. I see here that my bachelor's degree that's required for this role, I've got that because there's a check mark here. I can scroll down here and I can see, different things about, hey, how can I gain my skills maybe a different way? Well, it's going to give me some options to do so here. If we scroll back up, I can actually click done here, and we're going to go back and I'm going to take a look at my careers of interest. So if I take a look at my careers of interest, that's a director. I click on that director. We'll give it a second here. And now I have some other things, right? I have some featured learning that's pertaining to this. Once again, it's going to always show anything that I already have for this role to be successful, it's going to show right here. If there was any vacancies that related, they would showcase here because of that recruiting module, then I could be able to apply to it. So we scroll up to the top here, and we're going to go back and hit done. Okay, and now here, this career preferences, if I click on that, this is where I can update any of my career preferences. Once again, this is going to be fully configurable, that I can make changes here just by clicking this little pencil. Things might change, right? Maybe right now I'm going to say I can, travel, I don't want to relocate. Maybe in 6 months that's going to be changing. So this is all going to be updated by the employee when they see fit here. So we're going to hit done here, and this is based upon my team, right? So it's similar view to what we're going to take a look at from Jessica's standpoint as a personal, but this is just for my team members, what I can see. So if we go back to my home, we're going to go back to me personally, and we're going to take a look at my career and performance again, because we're going to drive to my career development. And this, once again, is Jessica looking at hers personally. So I can see any active goals here. I can see any goals that have been shared to me that I might be interested in. I also can explore roles myself. So if I click on my explore roles, I've got different things too that show how much percentage I am compatible to that. So say for whatever reason, I'm a vice president now, maybe I just want to change and do something different, a different role here. So I can actually click this quantity surveyor if I wanted to. And I'm 100% looking. I can add this to careers of interest because I think this is of interest to me. Now, if I took a look at a role that I might need to have some development in, then I can click at that as well, just like I did with my employee view, and I can see what it's going to need from a skill set standpoint. So from a delivery quality, I need to work on that. Maybe innovation, I need to work on that as well. Now, something that's really interesting that I find is very helpful. This shows you colleagues that are in this role. Why is that helpful to you? Well, it's helpful because now I can favorite this person and I can actually reach out to them because I have their contact information. Maybe I want to set up, to have coffee with them and talk about, what is it really that you do in this role? I'm looking at maybe an opportunity when one comes up. I want to be prepared that when I apply, I'm, qualified, or I have this special knowledge, or I know what to expect or what questions to ask because you're in that role. And you just scroll through and you can favorite those individuals. Once again, I can add to careers of interest as well, and that's going to show down in my careers of interest. So now if I go into my careers of interest, we see here that we have those different titles of those jobs, and I can start to add my development goals here. Now my favorites, those are just those individuals that I favorited there, and then my career preferences. So this is, once again, something that might be not right on your horizon now, because this is something that you'd like to, talk to your employees about. I find from a talent management perspective or any kind of HR process, you always really need to know that you're communicating out to your employees what's in it for them. Why would I take the time to do this? Well, you would take the time to do this because HR has, this great software, and it's easy for you to be a part of your own development as an individual. And like we go back to that slide, with the millennials, typically only staying in an organization for, 2.6 years, they're looking for this type of stuff. This is what they're, looking to see. Where can I grow in this organization? I love it, but maybe I want a different opportunity. With this software, this can all be configured to make all of that happen for those users and for those individuals. So we'll go back to the home here. And really, last but not least, reporting is a huge aspect of any software that people use. So this will be an easy click here to get to that My Reporting. Once again, if you didn't have the access based upon your security role, then you wouldn't see those reports that you wouldn't be able to take a look at. So that's something to be, cognizant of as, individuals in the system. It's all secure, it's all locked down. You only have access to the information that you need to have access to or that you have based upon your role. So I know we just have a few minutes left. I'm going to now pull back the slide, and we'll finish off our presentation and have some time for some questions.
So now take a minute to remind everyone here, if you have a question, particularly around any part of this software, you can go ahead and ask it on the question icon on your toolbar, and we'll take those as they come in. The one thing we wanted to talk about, typical approaches, how people are implementing this software. There's really two ways to go about this. If you're currently, and I know some of you on the line are using Taleo today for recruiting and onboard, you can actually go ahead and integrate this with Oracle HCM Talent Management. Or if you're using another system of record for your core HR, those can be implemented. The other approach, of course, is to purchase Oracle and implement everything from your core HR to all the full suite of talent management modules. Two different ways. Not one way is right for all organizations. It really depends on what feels right for your organization and what's more practical. So when we talk about that, I would encourage you all to reach out if you have any questions. If you're considering it, let us help you, determine what approach is going to be right for your organization. The one thing we do here at Evosis is we actually work with you to figure out the best approach to help you meet your goals. And then we also, of course, do everything on a fixed scope basis, and so it eliminates a lot of risk for you as you go through this kind of process. And again, just encourage you to go ahead and reach out if you have any questions. We have one question here, Sarah, perhaps you'll help me with. Is there an easy integration between Taleo and Oracle HCM? Some folks on the line have got some information that perhaps it's an additional service, or there's an exorbitant fee on that.
Okay, yep.
I think so. You know what we can say? I think it depends on your circumstance, and if this person would like to reach out, I'm happy to talk you through it. I think it depends on really what you're trying to achieve and how you're currently set up today, I think is the real answer to that.
Yes. And how much movement you have in your organization as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Yes.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And what Sarah means by that is turnover. If your employee turnover is really high, or if you hire thousands of people at a time, then we'll want to have that conversation with you, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Rehires, all of that.
Yeah. And then we have another question here. This person actually currently uses Taleo, and the group that manages succession plans want to know when positions are open. If you don't have the talent meetings, how can they achieve that in the software? Does that make sense? Did I say that right?
So they use Taleo today. Yep. And like in this software, if they don't utilize the talent meetings or talent review, how are they going to know when a position is available?
That is correct.
Okay, so you can set up succession plans outside of using the talent review meeting if you so chose to. Why it's important, though, I find the review meeting is because you're coming together and talking as a group. It's not one individual just doing it and saying, okay, I think this person is good because X, Y, Z. I find the talent review meeting is powerful because you're getting different perspective from different individuals that would have had interaction with that person.
That's maybe an integration point as well, if you choose to go that route, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would be an integration point that you may want to consider as you go over. So it's interesting as we talk about this, and this software can be rolled out fairly quickly if you have a bead on your processes to date and how you want things to go. I think the biggest challenge customers have is when they implement new software, they want to change their process. And it ends up taking a little bit longer because of internal meetings or feeling like, okay, we have this shiny new software, let's now change all our process. And that will actually delay your go-live date, and we encourage you to have conversations continuously with your internal stakeholders on this, right? And Sarah, do you feel the same?
Oh, absolutely. I find communication is key, especially when you're trying to streamline your processes or introducing a new system. You need to communicate, this is what's happening, this is why, what's in it for you? Why is this a good change in our process currently today? In my eyes, using a system is great because at any given time on my mobile device, I can take a look at things. Employees love that aspect of it. Just like today, we're all tied to our phone with, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. With this, it's almost like your own online social media of, your organization, but for performance. So, I find communication, saying that it's, a good thing is going to be key. And with it being all mobily optimized, it's not to say people aren't going to get that message because they have it right on their mobile device. They don't have to wait till they go into the office to find communication because this has changed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think looks like it's the end of our question, and we are at the top of the hour, and I like to respect everybody's time. I invite you all to reach out, and if you have any questions or even considering a move into an Oracle Cloud product, give us a call. We're happy to walk you through what that would entail, and we'll go from there. I want to say thank you to everyone for attending today. We appreciate it, and thank you, Ms. Sarah. We loved your demo.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoy your day. Oh, join us next month. We'll be looking at the Oracle Recruiting Cloud in depth, so we'll hope to see you back again next month. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.
Yep, thanks.